Okay, how are you guys doing? I think about 5 minutes. There's the live stream's up, but there's no picture yet, no sound yet, but they're still chatting. Let me unmute the room here. Whoops. Hold on, guys. Okay, guys, anybody want to come in and say hi? How was your lunch? Did you get a good break? Or are you galactic-wise? So we're back on the Diamond Show, and we're streaming live. I'm on the live stream, and they're in Canada, and they're taking their lunch break. They should be back in 5 minutes or so. If anybody wants to come in, the room is open. Just *6 to say hi. Give me that. Bring me the little cup. Okay. I got the 852 hertz frequency playing in the back. That's a frequency that opens up the pineal gland and raises our vibrations high enough to work on the pineal gland. So you can say that. We just learned from James Fu. You can say 852. You can keep saying that. You can feel that energy around you. And then the balancing energy, the energy of love, to calm your mind is 528, and that's the energy of love. And that'll calm you even if you're going to 852 and you know not really getting anything. Start saying 528. That'll calm you down, and then really cool stuff. These numbers have frequencies, and we are energy. So we're coming out of the dense energy and going back to our supernatural, natural selves, like I like to say. And we're energy seers. Soon we'll be seeing energy all around everybody. And you'll see as you're walking around in places, as your energy is raised higher or less dense, you'll see the energy change in the room that you walk into. It'll raise up to your frequency. Yeah. So this is really good stuff. And we're riding the wave. We're preparing in this seminar with Franco and James Fu and Antonio how to ride the wave of these energies that have just entered this earth as of today, September 21st, 2014, and then a boost of these energies on October 19th, 2014. When we look back in years to come, we will see this was a very, very historical day and be very humbled that we participated live and with intention if you're, working now or listen to the recording later, that we are part of creating this awesome awakening love energy for humanity and beyond, to raise our frequencies to a less dense energy. It's really going on, you guys. And I just want to welcome everybody coming in. We are waiting for them to get done with their lunch. They should be done any minute. We're listening to the 852 frequency that helps open up your pineal gland. And the 528 frequency we learned about is the love frequency. So if you want to learn more about it, just listen to this recorded call after we're done, and all you have to do is dial 209-255-1099, the recorded line, PIN number 883267#, 883267#. And they'll ask for a reference number, and it is 166#. Otherwise, I'll post it on the Diamonds with an S Forever 31.blogspot.com. I'll post the link soon after we're done. And I'll get it up on YouTube, and also I'm sure Franco and Antonio and the ones hosting this conference will put it up too for humanity's use. And just know that even what we learned today, even if we not have a clue of this conference or anything going on, this wave that's coming in is helping us let go and go with the flow, erasing our programs that have been set in us, any wounds, childhood wounds, any wounds we've had through our life. And when those people are ready just to let go and go with the flow, because things will be coming out in the mainstream media news, big-time disclosure that'll make our mouth drop, and even disclosure within ourselves, that when they're ready, their subconscious, the one they're not even aware of, and us too now, right now, will tune into this energy wave that we're kind of making this time stream today as we're going through this conference. So it's a really cool, good thing. A gift to humanity, and I'm just blessed and humbled. I even stumbled on it myself. And to have Franco on the Diamonds call, and Antonio Higgins will coming up on the Diamonds call. Julian Wells via Palladian Update, and Franco are going to do a call October 27th. Franco will be here by himself. But Julian and Franco will be together, and then also Raymond from Missouri has met 32 species of ETs, which his dad and grandpa have met. We'll have him coming on. That video is on the blog of Alfred Webb and him. Awesome stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's refresh here, see if they're back. The room is unlocked if anybody wants to star 6 and come in and say hi really quick. Okay, I'm loading.
Hi, Elizabeth. Sandy again.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
You're back.
Yeah.
I told you.
I just had a vision back to my childhood, and I just wanted to throw this out there, just a comment on how, children are so obsessed with the rainbow light. They're drawing rainbows and butterflies. But they draw a lot of rainbows. I know I drew rainbows as a child. And my own self-portrait of myself when I was about 6 or 7 was me in my gingham dress and my pigtails with a big rainbow over my head. and I, it's just returning to that innocence of being a child of God, really. And that, it's like the rainbow light has never left us. It's more that we left it. It's always there. And, I think of it as, oh, sorry, I'm outside. I'm hearing the background. And it, and it really, I feel that intention of the rainbow light, it encompasses a lot. And also, when people, with my work with the aura camera, I always know when healers sit down to have their aura picture taken, and I can see ahead of time what the aura is going to come out on the photograph. And when you're in a healing modality, you're in total rainbow light, just a very balanced rainbow light that comes all the way around your aura. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I feel we're just going back to a balance, being in total balanced rainbow light, with all of this. So that's my 2 cents worth that just came to me.
Thanks, Annie, for adding that. Anybody else would like to come in? Did I hear somebody? They have it up live. I think I haven't seen anything yet. Okay, let me mute out, you guys. I'm going to be right back. Okay, guys. Sorry, we're still waiting the live stream. There's just people talking on the chat, and they say it's not up there yet. But the window's on. It says live, so we're still waiting. We're just 100 people there. It takes a little bit of while for everybody to get done eating lunch at the same time and getting everybody back in the room. That was a great story you offered, Annie. They said the tech guys won't forget about us doing the live stream. Okay, now I got 528 hertz on. That's the love energy. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to put this sound on. Just make one sandwich for the twins and cut it down and toast it. And then there's two bowls right there. Welcome, everybody that's coming here to listen to the live stream in Canada via web stream through Diamond's house to your Diamond's house. So we're just waiting for them. They'll be back here on break soon, probably 5 minutes or so. Any minute. Lunch break's over. So they probably made it 15 minutes more, which it is now because they didn't get started until 45 minutes ago, an hour now. And then we're going to take an hour lunch. So you know how that goes. So it's a nice blue sky, big fluffy cloud day in Minnesota. What's the temperature? 56, 54. Beautiful day yesterday till around 4, and then it rained. Straight line winds, so we got the best of both worlds yesterday and today because fall is upon us. But it's all good. Okay. Somebody's asking, is the program started? Not yet. Okay, I got my eyes on this, guys, and let me mute out the room. I'm sure we'll be starting soon, and I'll play the music until we get started. It'll come on. It'll just pop on. You'll hear it. Okay, they turned the camera back on, and people are talking in the room. On the screen, it says "Riding the Wave." So it should be starting any time now. Here we go.
Let's try the clapping thing again. Let's see if that works.
I probably know some of these people that I don't even know their names or don't recognize them. Facebook friends. I know CJ's there. I haven't looked for her. Here we go. Here we go.
A big thank you to the Kingsford Center for that amazing lunch, that's for sure. And I don't have too much else to say. I'm just going to turn it over to Franco over here. But, yeah, lunch, yay. Enjoyed it.
I figured he's going to be on for a little while. You got that on pause. Good stuff. Well, welcome back. You're going to have to adjust my volume, but so we're going to get to play some more. And I know some questions came up about what is the wave, or what is it riding the wave. So basically, who surfs here?
Who's surfers?
Okay. Now, there's two types of surfing. We call it surfing the wave, which you're basically surfing the ocean waves or water. And then there's surfing the net. They're not the same. So the reason we picked the riding the wave is because of the energies that are coming through. So we're going to play with a little bit of that and see what are these energy changes about. Anybody know? I can't even give you an answer now. Oh, it's okay. We don't need to have it all 2 words. Have they? Okay, a good one. Anybody else have an input? Evolution? Okay. And go ahead. Sultan belts? Okay, good.
It's reloading here. Hold on.
That's already in the past. Do you want to say anything, Edward? Cosmic rays? Okay. So everybody's right. It's a combination of everything. So what's happening is we're having this new energy frequency that comes in. Now, we've had several come in for quite a while now. I mean, we've had them starting from basically time of creation of this sequence. However, we started with some a little bit more major ones in the late 80s, and then, of course, the big one started in the end of 2012, and each one is very aligned to create various shifts within ourselves, shifts in consciousness on a global level, but it's also bringing not only the vibration of the planet, the vibration of the physicalities, the vibration of thought, the vibration of your own creative ability, and so forth. It's all bringing it in all into alignment for what we have called forth, and that is a shift that we are making on the planet, a shift that we are making in the human experience. So this wave that's coming in today, which will stretch out till the 21st of December, will also is designed to create a footprint, or basically a foundation energy for the next 15 years. What's the purpose? It's to create this higher level experiential creation in a human and physical form, but also to bring us back into alignment with the rest of our galaxy and our universe. So everything is on a major upgrade. So this particular one here is specifically designed for us to do what? It's here to actually either assist us to raise our vibration if you're already at a high level. And this is one of the reasons that James has been working on the 528, because as long as you're in the 500 range and up, you're going to feel a surge. You're going to feel lightness or a little lighter. You're going to feel things are flowing. You're going to notice things are going to start to come into place in your life. Now, when I say coming into place in your life, it's not the fact that all the stuff you wanted on a human ego level is going to all be dropping in. It's going to be dropping in on what is of a higher purpose, which basically is the soul. Now, at that vibration of 500 and up, you already have a much more stronger connection with yourself, so that what your soul is trying to project or wants to project through you, and what it's sharing with you and what it creates around you is matching more with your mind and body. So you're not creating the separation. Okay? So the mind's saying, I want the nice little red Ferrari. The soul's saying, we're here to learn and play and do what we need to do, and we're going to get this next stage to upgrade our operating system. Is this Ferrari going to be beneficial, or is it going to be a deterrent or a distraction? Or is it going to still push you playing in the 3D world? So basically, if that's going to be a distraction, there's a powerful focus. It's not only that you're not going to get it, it's going to take a few other things out of the equation. So an actual fact is like this. You may have $100,000 in your bank account, and you want $1 million. Okay, so your mind says, if I have $1 million, I'll be happy. I'll have all this stuff going on in my life. So the soul says, okay, this money is already giving you a distraction as it is because you're putting too much focus on it. And we need to get on track with what we want to do. So in essence, you're not going to get the $1 million. But it's going to activate certain sequences that will take you 100,000 out too. For what reason? To see how much value, how much power you've put into this monetary situation. Of it creating an experience that you're choosing. Now, is the soul, your higher aspect of you, really nasty or, going, I'm going to get you or anything like that? It doesn't quite work that way. It basically says, I want what's best for you. Now, how many of you have had an experience where you've had what you deemed as something negative, losing something, losing lots of things, or just changing your life path, or even having an accident or something of that nature, and once you've had it, at first it's the shock, but after that, realizing, wow, that was a good thing that happened. Okay? So what you've just confirmed with yourself is exactly what I just explained to you. So when we're talking about it starting to flow for you, the flow for you is in what is going to support you. So if your state of, I desire to experience not only this, but to create all these alignments, like putting something together, guess what? Then it will all come and flow. It's not going to be so much resistance because, first of all, you're going to emanate at a certain frequency. Others that are drawn to it, want to be part of it, will come together. So you want to create a sustainable environment of some sort or whatever you want to call it, a village or something of that nature. And it's been much more difficult. But once you're at a state where this energy is uplifting you, it will come easier to come together as long as there's no more lessons that need to be learned or other programs are still there. Because at times it gets held back because, for example, if I'm going to put this in, I'm going to be distracted again, even though this is important or, it would be a direction we need to go. But there's a few little things still here that might as well, when the cleanup, let's clean up. How many of you do housework or whatever, you clean up your garage or whatever it is, you start cleaning it up and you stop, right? And you say, I'll leave the rest or something of that nature. Well, we're very good at that, especially if we have challenges in our life. Okay, let's take care of this. Because if I get rid of this big thing here, I'm going to feel much better. So, you clear up that part. But then you find that the other stuff is showing up a little bit more. Look at it this way. I'll give you a simple analogy. Did you ever clean a house when it was at night, you don't have that much lighting? So you clean it up based on what you can see. Okay? So come morning, the sun is shining, the windows are open, and now it's illuminating the house. And all of a sudden, everything that you couldn't see is there. Whoa! Wow, there's a lot more dust than I thought. Wow, there's stains everywhere. That's what this is all about. It's illuminating every part of it. So, if your vibration is a little lower than 528 or a lot lower, if you're talking in the 75, 50s, 200s, whatever, what happens is your vibration is at that low state because of that there's still a lot of programs, there's still a lot of beliefs, there's a lot of attachments, a lot of ways of experiencing life that are still reflecting a lower vibration. James can be up here and raise your vibration. You can say 528 till the cows come home if they do at this point. You will go up. And it's beautiful because it gives you a different view. It's like this. It's for you to be in the middle of the city and you're looking around on the ground. But you see all these buildings. But you can only see the buildings around you. And you're trying to figure out where to go. You're looking for, where's this other building? You can't see it. But you walk inside, and you go on the elevator, and you get to the observation deck or at the top floor you're looking at. Now you could see the city better. At that point, you don't feel lost because you say, oh, there it is. I'm going to go there. I just have to figure out, okay, I can look down and see that's my path to get there. And that's what the 528 does. Or 828 or whatever other numbers we're going to use, the vibrational higher. It just gives you the opportunity to be able to see the bigger picture. Now, the other thing, too, it does, is that if you're having a challenge of some sort and a lower vibration, because if you're in a fear state, your vibration is very low. If that chart was up, you can see it's quite low. Fear is very low. Now, the program may be that something happens to us, we have to be in fear, so of course our vibration lows. When you're in fear, and I'm sure that all of you have had the taste of it at one point or another, and some of you are probably real proficient at this, have been in fear, and a situation comes up, or you're looking at a situation through the vibration of fear. How big does it look? How futile does it look? How impossible to deal with it does it look? Do you see an easy answer at that point? Or do you just dwell into that fear and go even deeper? By raising your vibration, you're coming out of that fear state. The situation may still be there, but now you're looking at it completely with a different set of eyes. How many of you had that experience where you look at something that's really intense for you and then something shifts and you're now looking at it with a different set of eyes? It's like, oh, that's easy to take care of. And then solutions come up. Can you imagine how fast these solutions come up? It's like, oh. And most of the solution is, why am I even worried about it? That's a big one. You know, sometimes people get together and say, well, they got some big problems. I said, you have nice games to play with. But let's go into it. That's, you wanna see it that way. Let's go into the depth of it. Let's go into fear. Let's have that little experience, and let's go right into it. And we're not going to turn around and say, well, I'm afraid I'm going to get sick. I said, forget that. Don't even go there. Let's see that you're dying. And not only that, we're going to make sure that you're going to be homeless at the same time on the street, and there's something. Oh, there it goes. Eating your skin. So why are we doing that? I said, if you're going to go all out. Have that experience, and then you can step out of it. Why, that's mean. I said, no, that's coming from great love. That's what happens. Well, it's not that bad anymore. You can easily shift it. So, what's the wave going to do? Amplify anything and everything. For you to feel elevated as you're flying higher, or for you to see everything, that's that light coming into the window, see every part of it, and not only that, it's going to activate any story, any program, anything that you have that is there that needs to be addressed. And now, the addressing is not the fact I got to get rid of it. That's part of it, but that's an aftermath. You have to understand anything that's in your life is there for a very specific purpose. Okay? So now you look at it and say, okay, great, I'm in this experience. Because when you're coming in and you're looking at the experience, it says, okay, here it is. How many are you famous for the fact of trying to avoid an experience or saying this is horrible and feeling bad about it? Many people, and the ones that don't even admit it, have felt it at one point or another. But if you're having a situation, because there is also the other teachings that come along and saying, well, you attracted it. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Well, that is only a small portion of it because it's not really the way it works. So if something comes into your life, you say, great, I can see it. Here it is. Black and white, color, you name it. It's in front of me. Let me look at what it's for because it's the purpose for it. See everything as an adventure. How many of you like to play adventure games or whatever it is where, you have to try to figure something out? But you're not going to go figure it out as, oh, my God, what did I do wrong? How come it's so bad on me? Or anything like that. You're going to go in there with the idea of adventure, and you're going to go see this adventure. And say, okay, great, let me discover what's there for me. Look, this person is playing that role. Fantastic. Now let me see what is presented for me here. They're suing me for everything I have. Great. Now let me see what the whole story is about. And when you look at it that way, guess what? Your vibration is high, your viewpoint, you're on the elevator, now you can see the whole thing. So, you're on the ground and you see smoke from a distance. You don't know where it's coming from. You get on the elevator, get to the top, you can now see the smoke. Oh, there it is. But not only that, you can choose to play with any of that aspect because you could see the big picture. But then you're not taking it personally. You're now looking at it and say, okay, let me see what's there. Because everything is there for a purpose. And the purpose is not that you make a mistake because there's no such thing. Who believes you can make a mistake? Perfect. You can't. You can mistake is the word. Mistake something. But then, is it really a mistake? Even if you misunderstand or you misviewing what's there, there's a perfection in that too, because in that perfection, your viewpoint will give you a specific experience for you to only alter that experience of yours, to learn from it. So you can have two people in the room and something happens and both are going to respond differently. Is one right and one wrong? It depends on the perceiver which one is judging what, but at the same time, it's just an event, it's just an experience. But each one is viewing it differently. You can't make a mistake. They're going to take whatever they need and will activate whatever experience they require. So everything is perfect in that regard. But it comes to a point, a higher understanding comes in, and then you say, okay, how many of you have felt that you were absolutely on track, on the ball with something that you were experiencing in your life, or some consciousness or something that you knew, and then some years later realized, not quite that way, you know? That's perfect, because then that's what you needed. At that point, that viewpoint was exactly what you required. So now that you could see it differently, can you judge it and say, well, I was wrong? No, I took it that way. I misunderstood. But again, even that doesn't fit in, because I chose to see it that way so that I can have a serious experience. But now I'm different. I can see it differently. That's it. Now, how many are you feeling at this point in time that you've done something in your life that has not served you? Because as much as you may have made choices, and this is a good one, because in essence, you make choices, you have certain experiences, and then we may think that it's not serving us. Specifically the ones you keep repeating. Okay? Those are the best ones, because what happens is you keep repeating it and going, wait a minute here, what's going on? The only reason you're repeating it is you're granting yourself another chance, another opportunity. If you don't get it from this viewpoint, I'll give you another one, and another one, and another one. And yes, you can turn around and say, well, I'm stubborn, I'm stuck, and I can't seem to see it. But your soul doesn't really have any issues with you. It says, okay, you don't see it in this color, I'll bring it in that color, I'll bring it in this shape, in this form, or whatever it is. And then at some point, if you really don't get it, we're just going to turn up the heat a little bit more. We're just going to put it right in front of your face. And if we have to actually smack you with it, then that's fine too. That's it. So did you make a mistake? Well, you may have decided to get attached to the whole idea of repeating that cycle or refusing to see the rest of it. No, that's fine. Look how much you learned from it. You had endurance, stamina, holding on. So, what are the changes? It's about intensifying whatever state you are in to allow you to see what needs to be adjusted and cleared and let go of, and whatever you've already got on track with, it only pushes you further. So, part of it is, do you ride the wave or you get slapped around by the wave? If you're still playing in the 3D world, it's going to become much more difficult. It's much more intense. Like James was saying, if you're sad, you're going to be sadder by 10-fold or 100-fold if necessary. But is it the energy? No, the energy is only enhancing what you are calling forth. So it's like this. Your soul is saying, listen, we need to do something here to make a shift. Okay? So it's using its capability, and it's also using the vibration energies and frequencies around itself to create that intensity. But now with this new wave, it's actually giving it a boost. It's like all of a sudden it's saying, oh, wait a minute here, I have more resources. Not only more resources, I have much more energy into this. So the boot in the butt that you may have gotten several times from your own self to kind of create a shift, now it just got into steroids and has also gotten into that extra boost. So in actual fact, the boost now, what used to be the weight of a foot, now has a 20-pound weight on it with spikes. So when you get it, it just basically, ouch, I got it. Or at least it gets you into more of a shock so that you can see it. So if you're depressed, for example, okay, it's not going to stop at that level of depression where you're going to feel bad about yourself and just be there and just moan and go back to the Haagen-Dazs or everything else that's in the refrigerator or whatever and just, and then feel worse for yourself because you're trying to do that. It's not going to just stop at that. At this point in time, it says, okay, if we're going to go, we're going to push you right down to suicide. And not only that, suicide, we're going to make sure that you're going to see nothing but that, to the point you finally let go. Or check out. That's a heavy one, eh? But it's there for what? How many of you believe this energy was brought forth to compromise your journey on this planet? No one. It came here to assist you. And you called it forth. And you're still in charge. Not this part. Now, this part plays a role too, though, because the mind itself, depending on the stories they're holding on to, will accentuate the experience, because in essence, if you're stuck in certain patterns of thought, of course, what happens, it elevates that or makes it much more concrete and much more intense, so that now it has to use something else to push it even harder. So now, of course, the polarity experience of clashing together becomes even much more colorful. Learn the word colorful, okay? Because it's a good one. And play. Because when people say I have problems or I have something intense, if you see it that way, we have this innate program that comes in that always makes it look big. So if somebody's having a very colorful, intense, or let's say an intense experience, it's colorful. Because what happens is it really accentuates, that's good, right? Accentuate the colors. Sexual? No. Color. It makes it much more brilliant. How many of you are here to have fun?
Me.
Let's have fun with anything and everything. And that's where the colors come in. The colors are there. So your life is colorful. It's not challenging, but you can look at it as challenging for a little while and say, okay, I'm going to have some fun with the challenge, because, you're playing a video game, you like to have some challenge sometimes because it makes it a lot more fun. Now, how many of you played video games? Okay, not that many. But you can be playing the game, and you can choose. You can get so wrapped up in the game to win or to reach another level. How many of you actually played the game and got frustrated, actually got nervous, or got upset with the game? There you go. So you got really into it. Perfect. But how about if you were playing the game and you're just going to see how much more fun you can have in maneuvering or getting killed or whatever the game represents? It changes the whole thing, because now it doesn't matter, because the game is a game. You don't want to have fun with it. Originally, when you buy it, you want something of interest to keep you entertained or whatever it is. But then you can get obsessed and get caught up in the game, and you get lost in the game, and you make it so real for you, if you want to call it that, that when you're playing with it, you get all this tense. Have you seen anybody stressed playing a game? That's how we play this game, because your life is a game. It's one amongst many games you came to play. That's it. So instead of getting stressed about it, have fun with the game. It's not life or death. It's one physicality or next. Form, non-form, form. But nothing is death. We just create the illusion of that, even too, while you're playing the game. Oh my God, if I don't get this, I'm going to die. Not quite in those terms, but your life is going to end. That's having expectations. You're here to play. So play. Have fun with every aspect of it. And this is what the wave is there, to let you have some more fun. Even in the colorful aspect of what your lower vibration while you're going through this. So right now, it's all about letting go. It's letting go what no longer serves. So what are these? Everybody understand what these changes, energy changes are about? It's to accentuate everything. Now, how is this going to affect us? Emotionally, physically, and globally. Well, we covered part of it. Emotionally, it's going to take that cap, take it off. So that means if you've experienced emotional challenges up to this level, you now become so much more powerful. You can really go up. You know when you're going to have a blowout? Just put it this way, you thought you hit the top. You can go higher. You're really good at that. So emotions are a beautiful aspect of the human experience. Don't judge it, don't see it as bad. The only thing is, if you have driving emotions, emotions that are driving you each moment, because most people are driven by emotions anyway. Fear is a powerful emotion. How many choices you make or don't make because of fear? Or the fact of having anger. How many choices you make or don't make because of it? So in essence, it starts to drive you. It's in the driver's seat. Guess where you are? In the trunk. We're not even talking the passenger or the back seat. You're in the trunk. Gagged and tied. That's when the emotions are running high. So it's going to basically push it to the max, and you're going to be so, you can even have duct tape over your mouth. And you're in the trunk. And the trunk is not smooth. It's got all these pellets on there that you're lying on. Only for the fact for you to come to realization, okay, it's enough. I know and I love my emotions, and it is a great experience. However, I'm getting out. I'm going to go back into the driver's seat. So if you want to have an emotional experience, have it to the duration you want. Bring it in, have it completely, and then let it go. It no longer drives you. But what drives emotions? Stories, programs, belief systems that you've put in. For you to get angry, there has to be a story, and you need to look at what the story is. Somebody could say to you, you know, you're not very smart. And you can explode, get all upset, everything else. That was just a comment. I mean, there's several parts to that. The first part is, why would you get upset? Well, you're getting upset because you have a story tied into that, which means a lot more than what that statement was about. Second of all, if you didn't even have any reference point to it, would it make any difference? You probably wouldn't even have noticed it. And then the next part is you wouldn't even hear it because it wouldn't even be said. And you, the higher aspect of you, wouldn't have given the script to somebody else to say it to you in the first place. See how beautiful that all is? It's all orchestrated nicely. So, what happens? You got anger issues, stories and programs, it's going to come left, right, and center. And it's not, I mean, how many of you have experienced one thing after another now? Everything is speeded up. But now it's on overdrive. Not only on overdrive, it's now, of course, we're taking the lid off. So we're going to go all out, only for one purpose, and that is to get your saturation of it and start to create a shift with you. So that you no longer want to be in the trunk, you now get into the driver's seat. So you want to have an emotional experience? Have the emotional experience for whatever time. I want to get angry. Let me see how it feels. But you're not going to get lost in the anger. It's not going to drive your mind. It's not going to give you, how many of you have experienced somebody or yourselves have gotten angry? Logic goes out the window, doesn't it? Common sense of only your inner doesn't exist. At that point, you turn off every aspect of yourself, and poof, guess what? You're on drive of emotion. So you have that explosion. And how many times afterwards you go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to say it that way. For what reason? Because everything went out the window at that point. Which is great. You guys are masters. You have degrees. We should hand out degrees for that because everybody's had opportunities to see how great it is. As a human race, we've done really well with it. And we go out and kill each other, do all that lovely things like that, even though it's a dance that we're doing together. So here we are. We've played that part. So at this point, guess what? What we're doing is getting us to shift from that and let that part go. We've experienced it. We're really good at it. Every part of it we've mastered. And now say, okay, I don't need this to be lost in that experience. I'm going to, if I want to repeat it because I just like that color, I'm going to repeat it, but it's not going to be in the same state. Now, how many of you like to be an actor or an actress? So imagine you need to play with somebody and you really now have to get the message out there and you need to act angry. How much more fun it would be for you not to get angry and lost in the emotion to the point you can't even make the point of whatever you need to make the point, because now you're reacting to your own program rather than, making a stern confirmation of what you wanted to say, versus you acting in that anger state and saying, acting it out, but keeping every facet of your connection to your faculties, to your consciousness, to your common sense, or whatever you want to call it, all of that into the part just to get the message out. So you now say the message in a stronger version of communication, but it hasn't taken over. Quite different. Because now what happens is if you need to say something, because when you go into anger, guess what? Why do you lose most of your access? Because your vibration drops. So you're on, say, the 10th floor of the building that's 50 floors tall. And the moment that you actually get engaged and lost in the emotion, you've just went down to the second floor or lower. And, of course, your viewpoint just shrunk, especially if you're downtown and all the buildings are very tall. You can only see the building across the street because you can't see it. And that's what happens. But when you're acting and you bring your consciousness in, you're actually going higher up, so you have even a bigger view, and then, of course, you're going to have a much more powerful impact. So if you want to have that experience, perfect. Physicality, what happens physically? Same thing. It intensifies whatever you're having. What it intensifies is whatever you feel. And it's bringing it up only for one purpose, because you're basically purging and letting go of all these energies that you held on to. For example, when you have a reaction, you feel that tense feeling in your body, or you feel that how the tightness, and you feel the agitation and everything else. Again, it's been stimulated, and it's going to be stimulated so that you can continue to feel it, so that you catch the attention. You don't ignore it. You said this to yourself. Your higher aspect said, yes, I'm ready for this. That's why I want part of it. That doesn't mean everybody, because some people basically already got to a level they don't need to play with that. Guess what? Then it's like, oh, this feels much better. I feel lighter because I'm not caught up in that world any longer. So it has the two sides to it. So on a physical plane, it does the same thing on an emotional plane. Whatever is already there, in those programs, it comes up so that you let it go. That's the thing. It's letting go. Letting go of your beliefs, stories, whatever it is. Whatever you've gotten that you've taken on. And we'll play with that later. Globally, well, let's look at it that way. Look at how much fun all over the world is happening. People playing the role of abuser and abused, victim and victimizer, aggressor and the recipient of aggression, and seeing who's better and who's less, judging each other, doing all this lovely stuff, and also at the same time holding on to these old ways of doing things. For example, restricting knowledge, information, technology, resources, you name it. Ways of doing things, governmental, educational, religious-wise, everything else. Guess what? It starts to flash to the point where it becomes so prevalent, so in your face, that it starts to look more and more insane. Not in a judgmental way. More and more insane. It's like, why are we doing this? You know, we can still be playing whatever we're playing as the role, but what happens is that we come to the realization more and more, it's like, first of all, you don't feel like doing it anymore, playing that game. So what happens is a lot of the structures that depend on that lower vibration will actually feel it even more, and then it will elevate. And what happens, it'll look even more chaos, and then it'll start to dissolve. And that's how the process works. So it's going to seem a lot more chaotic for the next little while, but then it starts to elevate at the same time. So it's not about, for the next period of time, because that's why I said the wave is there for 15 years, because what happens when you've cleaned out the debris, then you start building up on top of the new foundation. But this foundation is now updating all the time. It's no longer stagnant. So it just starts to build up. And that's what's happening. It's basically, it's going to challenge emotionally, physically, and globally. And globally, I mean other aspects of yourself. Having the dance. How many of you do not get the concept, the idea, or the knowing, let's use that as a better word, that every single soul that's on the planet is another facet of you?
Wow.
Everybody's got it. Good. Except for one. It's a smarty pants.
Party time!
Yes, it's hard for the mind, absolutely, to understand the whole concept that these are another aspects of myself. We're all from one source, and you're it. How about if I told you each one of you is making everybody else up? In essence, that's what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
I know it's something to wrap your mind around. You're sitting here thinking there's all these people here. You're having a real nice little dream.
Oh, my God, Franco.
Come to realizing, oh, geez, I'm really good. How many of you think how good you are? You're amazing.
Yay.
Not only do you create your world, you're creating the world for everybody else around you at the same time. How magnificent are you? So do we know what the changes are? So we talked about it. It's about letting go, moving fluidly with the shift energies on the planet. Fluid. We talked about it just briefly this morning as we were doing that little process, flowing. The energy will not allow you to be stagnant. You're not going to get somewhere and expect to be there. Let's put it this way. The energies until 2.5 years ago was to pushing against you no matter what to never move forward. Not only stagnant, it was pushing you backwards. So whatever progress, one of the things that was happening, and I don't know how many of you can relate with this yet, and some others that have seen that, you may have made certain levels of progress, for example, in past lives. You come back into a new life. Now you stage, of course, your life with the challenge to the point where you activate enough of the stuff of the past life and the intensity of this present life actually takes you back. You regress, in a way, in your experiential component of it. So you start creating more density. There is, even the children now, for example, coming onto the planet, they're much more advanced in many cases. I'm not saying all, many cases. But being involved with everything around it, at times they take a step back. Now, that's not so much the case at this point in time, but that's the way it was working. Now, of course, the energies have shifted to a point it became still, but now the energies are pushing us forward. So you can't stay still. It's not about arriving anywhere. It's about walking through and visiting only. You're visitors now. Don't create foundations or anchors anywhere because you're not going to stay there. And that's in your experiential world. You get a relationship, you want to attach to it, good luck. And I'm not saying it has to be in and out in that respect, but what I'm saying is if you're going to anchor it, and this is my solution, my answer, and this is where it needs to be, guess what? It's not going to work that way. And then you have the other part of the equation where the soul turns around and says, oh, yeah, we're going to do this now. We're going to get attached and define ourselves by this other person that you're bringing in, another aspect of yourself. No, thank you. We're going to keep moving here. Now, of course, it's promoting both of you to keep growing, but I'm just saying that's just one thing. So at this point in time, this is a fluid movement state. You're going to go from one experience to another, and that's why I was talking earlier today about moment by moment. Each moment is brand new, and you're creating everything new. Have no expectations whatsoever. How many of you can handle the idea of having no expectations? Good. The rest of you have to work on this. Because what happens in expectations? You're basically setting up your own experience of what you can call failure, which doesn't exist, it's just a concept, or the fact of staging yourself in your own conflict. Look at it this way. Let's take a relationship, and I don't mean a relationship as an infinite whatever, even a relationship with a child or a relationship. Imagine if with a child you have a communication open. You see them for who they are, another aspect of you, equal, and you see them as that, and you allow them to have the experience. You exchange with one another. You know, you're first of all, you're not the teacher and they're the student. You can be the teacher and the student at the same time, and the same with the child, and you allow them to express an experience and whatever else. But you have no expectation. The relationship flows. It's very light. It's very playful. However, what happens when you have all these expectations? There's two things that happen. First of all, in the expectation part, you're setting yourself up. If I don't get that, I'm not going to be happy. Or I'm not going to be okay with my child or whatever. And this happens in all types of relationships, in any circumstance, even work. If you have expectations, you now are setting yourself up. You can say, okay, it would be great if we can achieve this level, but I'm open to see it even in a bigger perspective if it's possible. But if you have an expectation, guess what? First part is they're not going to choose to live up to your expectations if they're not up to it. They're basically going to do the opposite. Then the other part is your soul. Your soul turns around and says, listen, you know how restrictive expectations are? And you know how much we use that thing called emotional component and that we're so good at? We can't have expectations. We need to let it go. So guess what? You're saying to your child or anyone else, can you please do this for me? I expect you to, clean up your room, finish this assignment, do this for me, or buy me flowers once in a while, or do whatever. Okay? So you're saying that at the mind level. Your soul is turning around, okay, we got to get rid of this expectation thing, because if we want to play and have fun, we're going to have to let everybody just be themselves. So let's do that. So your soul is turning around and communicating with the other soul, being your partner or whoever it may be, and saying, listen, the mind is telling you to do this, to have the expectation. You make sure it's opposite. To the degree it's required, so we get our buttons pushed. See how beautiful that is? Now, who wants to hold on to expectations? You're going to let it go. Let it go. And let it flow. Well, that flow's not here. Just let it flow. You've come here to play with each other on an equal basis. Have no expectations. How many of you had expectations about something and then had something way better? Good. And how many of you have had expectations and had the opposite? That's a little bit more prevalent. I'm chill. You go with the flow. Because then, first of all, there's no expectations, but then things just kind of flow to enhance whatever you're already choosing to experience, and it doesn't have to be polarized or negative or anything of that nature. That's what the energy is about. We're turning up the heat. on every aspect of it. So, we have called in this energy. We've orchestrated, designed it together as a collective to come in and to facilitate the direction we want to go, and that is movement. That is recreating the human experience. We think that we know what the human experience is. We have concepts, we have beliefs, and I don't care if you put the room full of psychiatrists, psychologists, people that study all forms of mind thought and how our patterns work. And I can tell you most do not have a clue how it works, except for the operating system that has been adopted. That's it. But you, as you tune into yourself, you realize that it's not what we are following as a program, it's you. The human program is completely different. You're starting to discover it. But you can't discover it while you're holding on to all these definitions of what you think the human experience is that. You know, I hear it a lot of times, well, you know, humanity is this way. They are competitive. They are this way. No, that's only a program. Hierarchy of, you know, needs and all that stuff. People need love. Really? It's a belief system. How much truth is it? It's like this. You're standing in the ocean and you're asking for a glass of water. It doesn't have to be clean water. It just, ocean water. You're asking for a glass of water. You're in the ocean. Because you are the very essence of love. We just created this disconnect to thinking that we're not. No one's going to give. Love is a beautiful thing to exchange because the fact that love is coming from two different signatures, but ultimate love has no difference. And the ultimate love goes beyond the unconditional love. Unconditional love is only a facet of it where you actually allow love to flow without any conditions. Ultimate love doesn't even look at any of that. It just is. It's your very essence. So here you are, this ultimate love, looking for love. The mind's looking for love because it believes it needs some form of love. So you come to that realization. So that's one facet of it. The other facet is that, we need to bring worth to ourselves. We need to feel good about ourselves. Those are, again, stories against stories. How could you feel good or not feel good? You have a story that supports feeling good because if it meets all these requirements, I'm going to feel good today. And if it meets these requirements, I'm going to feel bad about myself today because they both have rules. How about if you collapse all the rules and then you just are? It's just that. You don't feel good, you don't feel bad. But at the same time, you feel all of it without having any polarization. So that means you're just in bliss. Having a great time. Very different, doesn't it? How about if we told you the natural state of humanity is the ultimate love, pure neutrality, pure potentiality, a state of peace, and just creating and experiencing and discovering other aspects of itself. Taking on any physicality it chooses with no judgment, moves through it, gets whatever it chooses from it, and then moves on. It does not require anything. Yes, we've come to a playground where we want to play with one another. That's great. And the human design condition can't even conceive the fact of separation, can't conceive the fact that, oh, one's better than another, can't even conceive the fact that, we need to torture or play any of these games that we're playing, or that we have needs or anything of that nature. It can't even conceive that because it is already in that ocean. It's everything. Because you're in that field of energy. It's up to you how you choose to experience it. We're not going to get into all the details of the true human nature. We'll have to have another event for that, and it's going to take a long time, a whole day or more. So we're just going to cover that. So in essence, just to give you a taste, in essence, what we're doing here, we're discovering ourselves. So this is all assisting us to do so. And when we're shifting the energy on the planet, guess what's happening? We're redesigning the way we play the game. We're basically redesigning what? Our playground and schoolyard. How many of you understand that this is a playground and a schoolyard? Because it is, yes, absolutely. Now what do you do in a schoolyard and a playground? You play. And you experiment. And you learn. Learn more about yourself and even create more than that. Yes, we are infinite beings. Yes, we are Source itself. But Source itself wants to also create even a higher aspect of itself. So here we are. It fragments itself into quadrillions of aspects of itself and goes out and plays. So that's what we're here to do. So we're shifting on the planet and everything on it. This is a good one. So how to address concerns and challenges that come up? Well, I don't know if we have time for that one. You can go hide in the corner. You can feel that the universe is against you. I love when people say, well, the universe is not supporting me. I say, okay, who is the universe? Oh, yeah, you. Oh, you're not supporting yourself? But I can tell you one thing, you are supporting yourself. You just don't see it at the mind level. Well, no, look at all these challenges I have. And who's creating the challenges? You are. And what's supporting you? The universe. And you are the universe. Then now the question is why it's there. Why have you created it? It's not your negative thoughts. It's not about all that stuff. It's you created for specific reasons. So let's take a look at that reason, which we were talking about before. So, how do we deal with it? How do we address it? First of all, never see it as the end of anything. Never see it as something huge. Never see it as a problem. Now, I say never because I'm just going to use that way. But you can do whatever you like because even that has its perfection. But what you're looking at, you see it as for a reason. Not on creating this, what's the problem? It's not a problem. You're creating this for a very specific opportunity. Remember that, opportunity. So if you have a situation that comes up, a circumstance or anything of that nature, and it brings up certain emotions and so forth, once you've gone through the emotional ride, which at this time, with the cap off, you can push it to the max. You can push it even further. So if you want to have the emotional experience and get lost in it, go full throttle. Listen, who's about doing half life here or half experience? You come here, that go full out. Who wants to go only play partially? Go have some real fun. So you're going to basically make that as colorful as possible and make the emotion and anything else just come to the max. But you don't have to do it all the time. You do it once. It's one specific one, and there's others. But once you've done that and you've gone through that part and let that part go, then you ask yourself, okay, great. That came up. What's the story here? Why is it here? What's there that I haven't seen that I need to see? I've made it very plain. I've made it very evident. The light's flashing. All the red lights are flashing. Okay, it's here. Let me take a look at it. And then have no judgment about what you're looking at. Not feeling bad that you may have created something that's negative. You're going to look at it and say, okay, what's my story? And when you've gone into the story, you have to look at it and say, okay, what's my lesson here? What am I learning here? When you're going that way, as an observer, and as a discoverer, and as an adventurer, you know that wall that you put. For example, here's the what's there, what is playing out, and we've put all these walls because we don't want to see it. Because we see it as a problem. Every time we see it as a problem, every time we see it as a challenge, every time we see it as something horrible for us, and we have all these levels of judgment around, we're making that wall thicker. So how many of you have been in situations where things are coming up for you and you can't see it? It's like somebody else doesn't have the wall there, and they're looking at it and say, well, it's right there, black and white, or in full color. But you can't see it. Why? Because you create all these judgments and so forth. But if you drop it and say, okay, I'm the observer here, I'm going to take a look at it, but you're not coming in the perspective that I'm going, I feel bad and this is horrible and I made a mess or anything of that nature. You're not going to have any of that. You're going to see it very lightly. Okay, let me take a look. I think I'm fading away. Okay, I'm back. You needed an interrupt for a second. Okay, so what were we playing with? Observer, okay. So as you're coming in as the observer at this point in time, and you have no judgment, the wall fades. Now you can see it. And now you're looking at it, and when you're looking at it, say, oh, okay, very interesting. Now what's the message behind it? What do I need to observe and learn from this? And then when you stun that part of it, you get that little seed, and you say, okay, let me take a look at the program. And how much of this program do I need to play with or not? And when you're looking at the program, you now see, okay, how much of this program do I need to even hold on to it, and how much of it is true that I need to adopt and carry on down my path? It becomes very much, let's call it this way, it's so much clearer when you're looking at it that viewpoint. It no longer has the same impact as before. How many of us have gone, you're calling somebody and say, okay, what's happening, this is, and so forth going on. First, you're in an emotional state, but the second part is that you don't want to look at it because you've created so much judgment about it. But the moment you drop all of that and you become the observer, you can see it. Then you bring the other component of play into it and say, okay, not only is it there, because listen, you're not here to have a serious, be there and go, oh, I've got to figure this out. Or, I got to look at that program, I got to get rid of it really quickly. Okay, let me look at it. Let's play with this. This is why I keep accentuating play, 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 play. Because it really shifts the energy. Completely. So feel the whole energy of problem. And then feel play. Same thing when, I do one-on-one sessions with people when they come over, I got all these problems. How heavy does it feel when you're coming in with problems? Or challenges? Or all the stories? It's heavier. But when you go into, okay, let's play with this. Let's take a look at it. You shift it. Same thing with healing. There's a lot of energy around healing. Negatively. I got to heal. From what? There's nothing to heal. I know that people are going to be upset with me saying, how come that guy keeps always saying there's no such thing as healing? Because there isn't. We use that as a word because we refer to it. But how about if you're just going in and saying, we're just going to shift the experience that you're creating? Now, which one feels lighter? I got to go and get healed. Or I'm going to go play with somebody and make a shift. Big difference, don't you think? Let's tweak it. Let's see what happens. But we're not going to shift it. I know James had brought it up earlier about the whole idea, you could see the future path of the person who's going to go down this path. I'm not going to, work with them, heal them, or whatever it is. And what he means is create a shift in there or take the block out of the way, because it's only going to accentuate where they don't need to be any longer, because that was their thing. The block gets there not by accident. The block is there for a very specific purpose. To create a shift within yourself, or to create a block, a path that you have been on for a long time, so that you can actually make a change. So you can take it out, but then guess what? You may end up crashing into a wall or whatever else, but you're going to get whatever you need. So let's take a look at it. Opportunity, play, create a shift, an adjustment, but the adjustment has to be in alignment with whatever is best for you. So much easier. Takes up way less energy. I'm into efficiency here. That's my new motto, even in my driving. Somebody said, I drive fast. I said, no, I drive efficient. Get the A to B with a extended, shortened period of time. I know there's no time, so we just get there. I'd like to be in that space really quickly. Okay. So, in regards to how we're going to play with this, as the observer, you can see the programs. And when you're seeing the programs, because we're going to play, yes, I have to do a clearing too. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm getting all excited here. All right. Okay, we're going to have to bind it all together. Time flies. We're having too much fun here. Okay, we're going to go on fast track. Okay, factoring in family dynamics and other relationships during the intense time. This gets really, really colorful. We're going to go faster. Because there's going to be things accentuated within the family dynamics and within yourself in all types of relationships. Okay? The thing is, about assisting each other, everybody's on overdrive. Everybody's pushing each other's buttons, even to another level. And the thing is, with the intensities, if you want to be that shining light, that pillar that creates a very powerful changing energy, that means you need to get to your higher vibration, your state of clarity, your neutrality, because then you can be that column of light within the family dynamics that is going crazy. Everybody's like popping all over the place. Everybody's having their little fireworks. And here you are, this pillar of light and calmness. You want to piss them off? Be that. So in that calmness and that beautiful, whatever you are, it allows them to see the polarity so intensely that at some point they may turn around and come to you and say, okay, what's going on here? What's your secret? Well, and then they're much more receptive. But you have to also understand there's another part to this. Remember the word expectations? Attachments? You need to let that go with the family too. If they're going through a challenging time, let them have it. Why put the cover over their beautiful play? Why do we not put the fire out? Let them have their fire. Let them go through whatever they're going through. And if you can assist them further, just accentuate it. Throw in something else if you have to. Do whatever you need to do. But you need to be in that state of neutrality. This is why it's key to work on yourself, to clear whatever you need to clear. Let go. get your lesson, learn what you need to learn, and move on. So you let them have their experience. Depart, check out in that physical form. You say, okay, I love you, see you later. Because you're not going to have attachments anymore, right? No? Maybe? Yes? Okay. I know it's tough. It could be tough at the mind level because we've created such attachments and what they represent. You know, losing somebody that you perceivably love. And it is a perception in most cases because we've created an emotional attachment of what it represents for us. How many people you love because it means something to you? It's a mind block. You can see it when people fall in love and then they're out of love. What happened? Something shifted? Yes. They didn't meet your expectation or something of that nature, or they pushed a button or something, or they did something that you didn't want them to do. And of course, now they go from love to hate. It's the same thing. With children too, and everybody. You know, we have this emotional attachment, but it's our own stuff. If a child wants to depart or wants to have an accentuated experience or a loved one of any form at this point in time, thank you, I love you, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. And if I can assist you in any way, good. You're not going to be putting the pillows underneath to stop them from falling. If they want to fall, they fall. If they want to have a rough experience, they have a rough experience. And if they want you to stomp on them, you do. Not in that way, but I'm just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with either way. So, you want to fall? Let me push you. Especially when they're teeter-tottering. They can't figure out if I'm going to fall or not. So you ask them, do you want to fall or not? I'm not sure. Okay, fall. At least you tried one. Then you can get up and you can choose next time. How did you like that experience? I didn't like it. Okay, then we don't have to fall anymore. Now we can walk. See the difference? Okay, good. So are we good? We're going to let the kids go? We're going to let anyone and everyone go. Doesn't matter what role they play. Remember, they're just playing roles. You've agreed to play with each other, but you're all free spirits. It's an illusion. They're another aspect of you anyways. Okay, so how to increase our vibration? Easy. And I can tell you 528 does some, but you really want to stay there, release everything low vibration. Attachment, fear, stories, programs, definitions, all of them. One by one. Out. I use the analogy, you're a hot air balloon. All your stories, all your attachments, everything else are those big weights that are attached around the basket. The balloon can only go so high. Okay? So here you are, you might be at the frequency of 50 hertz, 75 hertz, 200 hertz. But the moment you start cutting off all those weights, they drop off one by one. You start elevating higher and higher. Now, do you need to put 528? That means put the blowtorch underneath to try to lift it, but it always comes down because of the extra weight? Or you cut the weights off and it's so light, the least amount of fuel required will just bring it up. That's it. That's how you raise your vibration. Easy. Because I'll tell you one thing. It's not about raising your vibration. It's letting go of everything that lowers your vibration because you're already a high vibrating being. Isn't it so much easier to go to your natural state than trying to bring yourself something that you're not? Because you're not. You know what you're not? You're not low vibration. You lowered it purposely at one point coming into the physical form, and then you've done everything to keep it down as much as possible. But that's it. But the moment you let that go, the moment you give up, how many times have you gotten to a point and say, okay, I surrender. Let's just let things go. Whoa, what happened? You feel lighter and lighter and you feel all those problems. How many of you have put so much effort and so much intensity and emotionals and so forth in a situation, and finally you get to the point you just can't endure it anymore, you finally let it go. And after you let it go, it's like, oh, what happened? You just cut these weights off. You're floating. Did you have to do anything? Yes. You let go. That's it. That's all. Do we know how to do it now? So if it feels heavy, if it feels intense, that's the part you work on. Now, I would like to have some time, and I don't think it's going to happen today, where we can actually go through the whole process to do it together. Now, I was hoping that we possibly could, but it hasn't happened time-wise. What's that? Stay later? Well, I'm okay. I can be here till the next day. I have no problem. It's the endurance of everybody else. Okay. Well, that was the last one. Okay, good. Yes, that was the last one. All right, don't need all that up there. Yes. Okay, who said that? That's a secret. Oh, I don't want to shut down. Thank you. My life saved. You didn't see that. Time? A break? These people don't need a break. Who needs a break? Okay. So how are we going to do this? We've covered that part of it, but I was going to do so. Well, there's two things. There's a process that we could probably squeeze in, but won't happen, possibly. And then there's the other one, the meditation, and then we have a clearing that we're doing together with James. So who's the authoritative around here that is taking the responsibility to say yay and nay for time? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Okay. So I got that part. What happens after that part? Well, I know we're going to do that. That was the intent, work together on that. But, yeah, who has to leave at 5 or 5:30? What time do we need to be kicked out of Kingbridge? Okay. What's that? We got to leave at 6? Okay. So we got to cut it at 6. So we have 2 hours and 20 minutes and a break. Yes. Okay. We'll pick up the pieces on the October the 19th. We have to, or we do something on the line. We'll see how we can work with that. But we'll see where we go from there. I guess we'll have to give you a break now because you guys could use one. Yes. See you back.
They're taking a break. Are you guys getting stuff out of it? I sure am. We're building on our new foundation. Spanking brand new today, huh? Whether we know it or not, right? Anybody want to come in? They didn't say how long the break. Probably 10, 15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Are y'all hanging in there? Whew, well, I can feel all the high energy.
You said under those circumstances, she would be actually posted.
Hi.
Hey, Elizabeth, it's Sarah.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm still working.
Yeah, that's okay. You're soaking it all in. You're soaking it in even if you're not consciously hearing all the stuff.
You know what? I missed a lot of the meditation type stuff in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And so I had some quick notes. I know 528, so I'm not going to ask you if you can help me fill this in a little bit.
Sure. So say that again.
The 528.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, now I'm out of breath. 528 can you help me put together
528 is our love frequency. This is the frequency where we can try to be at the ease stage right now. I mean, that's like where all the monkey chatter goes away and high vibration. 528 is a hertz level of love.
Right,
and then he introduced, for the first time I've heard with this group, the 828?
Oh, okay.
828 hertz, which is opening, works on the pineal gland and even more integrating that.
Great.
Look. I did a blog on both of the hertz sounds.
Good. Okay, because I can look at that because I able to jot down 852 is the heart and the third eye. Is that right?
Yeah. Is it 852? Okay, here I have it.
Yeah, 852. I think that's what I had, but like I say, I was.
Yeah, it's 852. Spirit, pure love and spiritual order. Yeah, the pineal gland. Yeah, all that good stuff. So he says when you're saying 852, when you're saying that, eyes are closed, you should see a circle. Or, if your pineal gland's just open, you'll see waves and stuff. Just keep working on that. And then he said, I'm going to try to do a tube chop on this as soon as I get it up to YouTube. When you see that circle, you can ask to jump in, you go to other worlds. Then ask to come back, just practice that. Yeah.
Great.
So our third eye actually takes us to different dimensions and stuff. I know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking because I live with a bunch of people who are not, to varying degrees, open or not, but mostly not, And I haven't tried to. I haven't done much with trying to awaken them, except for just to drop little things here and there, because I'd probably get more of a pushback. I'm trying to very gradually.
Right. We want to be sensitive in that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I was thinking I would do is put together, a recording sequence that I could just listen to in the kitchen while I'm doing dishes or whatever, and people are coming and going all the time.
Beautiful.
And just, you know what I mean? And just start with probably, 528 and then move to some other frequencies and just kind of see what happens, And I figure if they're in the room for any part of it, it's going to be better than nothing,
Absolutely, Sarah. And I just want to let you know and encourage you that you are the technology. You are that radio frequency. As you are working on yourself and tuning yourself into that frequency, every room you enter or every room that somebody enters where you're at, you're the less denser, the higher vibration. Their vibrations will attune to yours, whether they know it or not.
And they I do, yeah. And I've got two teenage kids, and so I've been that really for a long time. And, I'm getting to, just like every other part of helping children grow into being adult people, I'm kind of feeling like, I'd like for them to step into their own a little more, And so...
Yeah, that's great.
Because I'm kind of dragging everybody with me.
Even you attending this, Franco said, we listened to it on the Diamond Show yesterday, that even as you're working on yourself and, you come to this seminar and all that, you're helping your family members. Your family members will just automatically tune into that, and then they have a free choice whether to, take it on in their subconscious mind and stuff. So you're helping your family members, humanity. Yeah, this is really awesome. Then you'll double whammy it when you're playing that audio.
That's just something that I can do that's kind of not labor intensive, because I am always running around taking care of lots of people. So, it'd be nice to, I still am working on keeping myself in that, that objective mode, of seeing things from that perspective, like Franco was just talking about, and so I do pretty well with it. I do pretty well with that, but I feel like I've gotten them off the ground to the point where I'd like for them to kind of step into their own power more.
Absolutely.
Whether they're, and whether they know that they are or not, but just to bring them up to where they can start to maintain that for themselves a little bit, because I do find sometimes
So you're feeling this desire in your heart, right? This desire coming from your heart, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's some other ideas, too. Even saying the numbers, even writing the numbers. I heard on a call the other day, she when she was in her house, she wrote the law of one on her wall and then painted the wall. So that vibration is there. You can write 528 or 828 with chalk on the sidewalk. That what I thought of in the city square in Minneapolis. Or you can do it in, literally in your rooms or on a piece of paper even too, or saying it. Make a song out of it.
Right.
Right. And the law of one is a galactic, universal, neutral prayer. And, the law of one is we are all one. When one is harmed or compromised, all are harmed or compromised. When one is helped, all are helped. So therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned happen for my family, and then only the highest good of all concerned happen for all who's going through the same thing in my family, for example. So it is, so be it. Now, when you ask for the highest good of all concerned, like your kids, and you want to help them come with you too. When you say the highest good of all concerned with all the 582, 528 strategies they're thinking of, just know that if they have something that they planned before they came in here to want to go through, you may still see them going through some struggles, but that's for their highest good of all concerned to bring them up to that 528. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I was just listening when Marco was saying, throw something extra in there. Bring them there faster.
Yeah, I know. It's a mother's heart.
It cracked me up, but I get that,
It's great.
All right.
So if you can get that, right, if you can know that in your heart, what we just talked about, then you're going to go flow and easy even with the things in your family and stuff, your kids, Yeah.
I really, I don't find that I'm having turmoil like I keep hearing that people are supposed to be having. And I don't find that anyone in this house is and we're all smooth. We're doing fine.
Great.
And so I think that probably is having that higher, the higher vibration happening here. And so, I do a lot of protection around the house and things like that. So,
yes.
And
also, as you guys are tuning, you're going to draw, like if you're tuning into love, 528, 824, you're tuning into that frequency, you're just going to draw all of that, all of the outer world to you with that frequency in, and the others will just have to float away. Yay!
Right.
Kind of, with all your surroundings, all the networks you have to work with and stuff,
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. It's, I certainly am aware of people and events, but mostly people who are trying to make life hard, and make it all drama and things like that. And, I have really no problem just sort of letting that just float right past, So that's all good. I'm all good. I'm excited. I'm all good. I'm hoping that, I would like to
make sure you come in and let us know how it all goes with your new foundation building, your ideas, huh?
Yeah, I will.
In a future time.
We're pretty good. We're pretty good here, really. we really are, and the kids are great people.
Yeah, but as we go with this wave, we go this wave, and you got some good ideas, creative ideas, so you just let us know in a future time how it's not just going in your family, but your life around you. We're all going to be in the play mode and have exciting things happen.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I will do that, and I'm going to let you go. But
okay, and they're getting ready to come back
there. Okay, honey. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Keep
right,
shining,
you,
Diamond. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, they're saying that for the meditation, you can lie down, relax, or sit in the chair.
We're going to be going into that next. And find your space immediately because we need to get going. Try and get through.
Okay, I'm going to put it back up there to the microphone, you guys.
And if anyone has pictures, bring them to the center table over here. If anyone has any more pictures that have not been already brought in.
I guess if you want them to attend the meditation, grab some pictures of your family or whoever. Or you can just picture them in your mind and bring them into the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
I just saw CJ. Claudia. Gathering into the room. I'm changing it to 852 hertz, the background. So they said, we'll be doing an activation, meditation, and clearing next. So what is it? So get comfy. Oh, welcome everybody. Franco's about ready to do an activation, meditation, and clearing
I've been given further
next.
instructions. It does not need to be a circle of any kind.
So get comfy. You can lay down or get in your chair. We're going to go into a meditation and clearing to handle this wave coming here that came in today. And in the background is 852 hertz frequency playing. That's helped. It's you love frequency and opening your third eye. And then the other one we talked about today was the 528. That's the love frequency. And 852 is playing now. I'll turn it down a little bit when Franco starts. Let me turn the doorbells off. Okay, so we don't hear the ding, people coming in and out. Okay, they should be getting started. Some people are laying down on their mats on the ground, being a sponge, like I like to be. And they're setting up their room. So, very beautiful. I've been to a lot of those meetings in the Christian realm.